as changes, and in this case, this is probably what is ascending. We are ascending our senses. We are being able to feel, but for this, we have to release, we have to be able to talk everything. We haven't talked about something. We know that we've all felt when we have an emotion that's too strong, how our neck tightens, it hurts. We've all felt this, no? So that's because the hyoid bone goes all the way to the nasal placement as we had with babies, and it hurts, and we can't even talk. So this has created tensions in the thymus. So just talking about everything that has happened to you, talking about everything that you've suffered in the past, not having those secrets, or finding someone to talk about it will release the hyoid bone, and mostly talking from our heart. So, you know, that's a little important message that I'm talking about, that I had to give you because this is part of the foundation Soleris. Foundation Soleris is Sol, which is sun in Spanish, and iris, which is iris of the iris or rainbow. So we're talking in reality of the glands and the colors. So I want to pass this will connect different structures of the body with tetrahedrons. This is different tetrahedrons, and the tetrahedrons, octahedrons are actually having a very, very large impact on physics and sacred geometry. So this is my version of how it connects the pineal to the thyroid hyoid and the hypothalamus to the thymus and the pituitary to the suprarenals. So it's like finally all the glands are connected or interconnected. So I wanted to give you a little gift. Due that I'm an iridologist, I'm actually the only diploma. I have American diploma. And I think that you're looking at eyes. So I wanted to give you a few hints of what to look in the eye. So we have 4 different types, mental types of eyes. One is the mental type, which is mostly has jewels, spots predominate. And it's a person that learns visually and expresses verbally. It's a more intellectual, rational type. Then we have the emotional type, which has flowers. It's lots of lacunae, they're called, as the flower petals predominate, and learns listening and expresses with gestures. It's more an emotional type. Then we have the kinesthetic type, which has to see a lot of fibers, and the fibers is also maybe some flower petals predominate, but learns touching and moving, expresses touching and movement. And then there is this one, which is the extremist type, which has lacunae, flowers, and also jewels, spots. It's an extremist. Things are extreme in their life, also illness are extreme in their life, and they are they learn visually and listen, expresses through innovating and creativity. I'm an expressive type. I am that extremist type, and my life has been extremist too. So blue eyes, everything that's color is in the eyes too. They're like jewels. Blue eyes come from places that have a lot of cold and not that much sun, clouds. And the tendency is lymphatic problems and rheumatoid problems and nervous system problems. Then we have the brown colored eyes that are actually, if you look at them with the light, they're orange. It's funny that iridology has been done by Occidentals, and there's less studies on brown eyes and none at all on dark people, black people's eyes, which are, if you look at them with the light, they're red. And you can hardly see anything there, but it's so heavily pigmented. So brown eyes normally are people that have the predomination of hormonal problems and circulatory problems and heart problems. Then we have the mixture, which is the green eyes. This is my eye. And you have, maybe sometimes it looks brown because if you don't see it with light, you have sometimes yellows and oranges. But it's a hepatic liver problems and metabolic problems that will have the most tendency. So actually you can see another thing very important is when you have a lacuna, a flower, is because that reflex area needs more light. So, you know, just having a chart like that and looking if there's a very big lacuna, the place that it belongs to here, it has more, it needs light. That's why it opens up and wants light. Meanwhile, when there's pigmentation, there's jewels, there's spots, which actually grow with years. That's what changes mostly. You start to have more spots. It's places that do not want any more sun activity, don't want any more light activity. So I thought that this was something that you that are looking at eyes, just this little bit of iridology maybe you will be able to use. And I'm sorry that I haven't given you any hands out and things like that. I am a very visual person, and maybe if I would have done that, maybe I would have changed what I would have talked about. So I could do that afterwards. I could pass around some of these graphics for you to have. So this is what the foundation wants to do is to also not only research things with light therapy and the problems that humans could have in these next years and the consciousness that could happen, is that also would like to have rainbows in every house, because just to look at the rainbow just actually harmonizes your biochemistry, and this is the radio. If you want to write this is going to be a radio TV where I'll have the fourth Thursday of each month. It'll be in English, and I'd like to interview in this radio TV some of the speakers that have been here, and also have for you to have more presence in the internet. It seems that you have very little presence. So even though I'm in Spain, I can do this from far, and the only thing is that 6:30. It's 10:30 for me, so I can make it a little later. So I'm going to go back to, these are the two websites where I have a lot of videos in English, okay? And I'm going to go to the theme that I was supposed, or I wanted to talk about, which is about solar coherence. And what is coherence? And so these two, I'll show them later at the end too. These are the two websites where you have a lot of videos in English, because I have even more in Spanish. So to know about solar coherence, we have to go with the curve bell curve of the sun, which is, it rises faster and then it slopes down slower. And you always have of every color, even though yellow, as we know, is the maximum of the sun. So what I'm looking at is in the voice. This is a very coherent voice. In this case is mine, because I have the chance to record my voice more often, because I can record my voice in many different moments. So as you see, it has of different, all the colors, even though there's always, I use 12 musical notes and I relate them to color. I'll show you how later. But the one in the center is only in one octave, okay? But the amazing thing of those 12 notes, we always have like a yin-yang. We have 6 plus, 6 more, and 6 less. If we put it in a circle, this is more or less what it would look. But we don't hardly, I will put it in a circle in the future. When we look for coherence, we're looking for that all the rhythms in the body are working together. They're not fighting each other. They're not going in an arrhythmic way. So in this case, these three rhythms, one can test with their hands. And in reality, the cranial rhythm, which is the slowest in the body, between 6 and 12 cycles per minute, depends upon the person, is very relaxed, it's 6. It's a very athletic person may have 12 cycles per minute. Well, if we have 8 cycles per minute in the cranial rhythm, and we have 16 cycles per minute of our breathing and 64 in our heart, we will have in perfect coherence, because they're all multiples, 6, 8, 16, 32, 64. So, of course, that's impossible to get, but as close as you get to that, all the rhythms are working together. So I teach in my craniosacral school how to also feel this with your hands. You can feel the cranial, the respiratory, and the cardiac. But the most important is that the cranial rhythm is the slowest, and what we have to match is the other ones towards the cranial rhythm. And the amazing thing of the cranial rhythm, I guess you must know about craniosacral therapy, but maybe I can tell you something that are not being said in the schools here, or maybe not, is that well, the cranial rhythm stops. That is an obvious thing we all know. It's the only rhythm that stops, and it has to stop to go to sleep.